Well, we are excited to be here. We are doing our real talks at Hard Knox. Got the production team, Mom and Dad, and we're gonna get it done. Hogtober walleye.
Hogtober walleye fishing trip that we did with your Uncle Chris Gallowitz.
How fun was that trip?
Oh.
Well, the water was super low, late season into October. It's all ran by the Irrigation District of Alberta.
Gotcha.
So the irrigation was shut down, no more water flow, low water levels, and you know, the boat launches were closed, the campsite was closed, everything was closed. We got special permission to go in there, and man, how awesome was that? We hooked into so many fish that it got to be pretty crazy. Like, we were trying to figure out which fish are worth being on film and which fish are big enough to to make the cut. Like, it was just crazy.
That's crazy. That's
it only took you a couple hours before it was like, we've got enough fish for show and you can put down the camera and fish with us.
Actually, we waited to the end of the day before I started catching fish. But then I showed you guys how to do it. And of course, it's not on film. They were the biggest and most fish for sure.
Oh, okay. Remember, ours are actually on film, so.
And we've heard about Hogtober, like in Ontario and Quinte Bay and all that stuff. The guys go there and catch some of the biggest and best.
We're not fishing the Bay of Quinte. We don't have 12-pound walleye on average out here. You're not allowed to keep walleye in a lot of places in southern Alberta these days. And if you are allowed to keep them, they're on a draw tag system.
Right.
So they're trying to raise the numbers of walleye, which is awesome. I'm a huge advocate for that.
Right.
But that's why you don't see us keeping a lot of these perfect eater-sized walleyes that most people, they'd look at that and they'd be like, what do you mean you're putting that back?
Yep.
Like, we have no choice. Trust me, I would love to throw those in the cooler.
And all of a sudden, Chris did get it. He's like, oh, there's a good one. And it just...
He didn't even know at first. He set the hook and he's like, oh yeah, I got one. And he's like, I think it's all right. And then you could see his rod actually bend over and he's like, oh, this is actually a good fish. Like, okay, maybe I'll net this one for you then. I usually, for walleye, I like to go like chartreuse or orange, like kind of on opposite sides of the color spectrum there, but chartreuse is my go-to. I always go for chartreuse, and then we found that the walleye were kind of light biting throughout the day there.
Right.
So we were getting bites, but they were biting our minnows in half, and throwing on that stinger hook was almost a necessity. If you didn't have that stinger hook until the evening bite, really. Once we hit that evening bite, then it didn't matter. They were just clobbering it. But throughout the day, for sure, super light bites, super deep water. You know, we were fishing on that ridge. It was 17 to 27 feet of water, so there's good depth change, deep water. Picked up a couple small pike out there. Picked up a lot of walleye off that ridge.
Yeah, there was a lot of walleye there.
The last spot, the final location. We got
current.
in there, and the water was really low. But we got right to the end, and right in that end piece, it was like, what was it, 20 feet or something like that? 22 feet?
It was quite deep.
Quite deep. Quite deep with current.
With current.
And those walleye, they love current.
Yeah.
They absolutely love current. If you can find current in a reservoir like that, chances are there's going to be some walleye
That's
there.
Where you picked up the first one, where you got a little bit excited. You're like, get the net, get the net.
That's when I actually picked up. I don't want to throw any numbers out there because we didn't measure or weigh them, but that was a decent walleye for us, especially, you know.
Was that not also when Chris's phone rang?
Yeah, that's right.
Right at the exact same time. I don't know why everybody phones people when they're fishing. I don't know why. Like, people should just read my mind and know that I'm fishing. You don't need to call me when I'm out there.
Don't ever call Aiden, ever.
Yeah, just don't phone me. I'm always fishing.
Because he's always fishing. That's a true story.
Hogtober walleyes.
Yeah.
Cheers.